What is going on, YouTube? So, thought I'd kind of redo my Miami Hurricanes preview. Give you guys a little bit of a better preview here. I thought I owed you guys a little bit better preview than what I did earlier. I kind of rambled on some things that really didn't matter about Miami in the first one, or at least some personal opinions that should be a different video for Miami. So, recap the format. I'm going to be doing 3 key players, 2 X factors, trap game, biggest game, and record prediction. So let's go ahead and start with the first of my 3 key players, and that is Brad Kaaya, the quarterback for Miami, projected first round draft pick in 2017. Now, I'm not going to say too much. I never say too much about these big guys that everyone knows about. In the key players, again, Kaaya, good, pretty immense success last year, at least compared to the rest of the team. I think the offense is going to have to balance out in front of him a little bit. And, skill players around him are going to have to do a little bit better than they did in 2015. Not necessarily bad, but a little bit inconsistent. Stacey Cole, Lawrence Cage, or Braxton Berrios, a few of those weapons that I think could step up this year. And then my next key player is Joseph Yearby. I think this goes for both Joseph Yearby and Mark Walton in the backfield for Miami. They played very well in 2015. A little bit of a thunder and lightning combination. Still might have a year or 2 left at Miami. And I think Yearby is a little bit better of the 2 backs. They both will be splitting time in the backfield. There's no doubt about that. I think they're going to have to be big again in 2016. If Miami wants to have a successful season, the offense will have to be balanced. We'll have to be able to pick up yards, touchdowns in both facets of the game. Now, that wasn't really a huge issue in 2015. I'll keep mentioning this word consistency. This is just in my mind. I feel like the consistency just wasn't there for Miami at really any point last year. And it's going to, again, if they want to experience consistent success in the ACC, they're going to have to find that balanced offense, that offense that can continue to put up at least 30 points per game like I know that they are capable of with the talent they have on this offense. So my third key player moving over to the defense is the best player on this defense, in my opinion, Corn Elder, a guy that will most likely be going into the draft. Well, not even most likely will be going into the draft. He is a senior. Excuse me. But he will most likely be a first-round pick, first or second in my mind. They got a big recruit coming in for linebacker that I think can be a little bit of the future for them, and that's Shaquille Quarterman. They are pretty young at linebacker. Got another one starting, Michael Pinckney, probably a true freshman. Darian Owens will be battling for that spot, though, as well. And then Jermaine Grace, the most experienced guy at linebacker. But talking about Corn Elder, I think he will be the heart and soul of this defense. He will need to be the heart and soul of the secondary. Sheldrick Redwine, I think, will be a very solid option opposite him in corner. And then they have 2 very experienced safeties coming back, Jamal Carter and Rayshawn Jenkins. So that should help out in the secondary. I think it could be the strong point of this defense. The defense will have to be a lot better than they were in 2015 if Miami wants to, again, compete at the level that I know they can compete at. So my first X factor is Mark Richt bringing in something new to the U, bringing in that swagger back that really hasn't been there since the early 2000s. I'm assuming most of you guys watching this have seen the U 30 for 30. I know that's the basic thing to say, but it really gets you. You want to be excited. You want to see, the U come back. You want to see Miami be good again. And again, it's going to take a coach that can bring back that swagger that some of those coaches did, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Every single time Miami has been good, they've carried the same controversial swagger that, that really makes college football a little bit more exciting, a little bit more controversial, and something the NCAA really doesn't like, something that's threatened the University of Miami program a lot, but they've always been good while they did it. And I think Mark Richt, while he doesn't have to bring that exact same thing back, will have to bring some amount of that back. So my second X factor is consistent defense. I mentioned this before, giving up 58 to Clemson last year, 59 to North Carolina. Those are 2 of the best teams that they'll play again this year, obviously outside of Florida State in the conference. They're not competing with Florida State or Clemson to win their division, but, pulling out one of those games. They were extremely close to beating Florida State last year, but, lost by 5 in the end, 29-24. They're going to have to find that consistent defense. The offense wasn't there in either of those games, 21 points combined, and all those points came in the North Carolina game. So while you can't have the defense giving up that many points, this has got to be a balanced team. It's got to be a team that shows up consistently week to week. Again, I have a lot of opinions about Miami. It's a lot of what you think about Miami is just, through the eye of the beholder. So my trap game for Miami is Georgia Tech. I had one guy comment on the last video saying that it should be App State, not Georgia Tech. My personal opinion on that is that App State might actually be the favorite heading into that game. My App State and Miami were two very, not similar teams last year, but two very good team, or two very talented teams at least last year. And App State will be a very good team in coming into 2016. I think they will be one of the best group of 5 teams. Georgia Tech, their first conference game on the schedule, they got to go on the road. Georgia Tech, I don't think they will be as bad as last year. It's going to be hard to beat Justin Thomas coming back. I think it could be a game that Miami might not be able to be well prepared for. So my biggest game for them is North Carolina. This one's obvious. You want to knock off the best team in the Coastal Division. It's North Carolina. They won. I mean, at least in my mind, at least for the time being, they are the reigning Coastal Division champions, almost were the ACC champions, botched onside kick call away. Maybe. Obviously, you can't tell what would happen after that. That's a shoulda, woulda, coulda moment. But again, Miami has the talent to do it. It seems like everyone says that every year, but they do. North Carolina, very talented team also. I don't think the transition between Marquise Williams and Mitch Trubisky, I don't think they're going to miss a step. So my record prediction for Miami, I guess the thing everyone's been waiting for. I think they're going to go 8-5. I know that's not a very bold prediction. They went 8-5 last year, but I see a very similar result this year. Going up and down their schedule, let me just go through the individual games right quick. Florida A&M win, Florida Atlantic win. App State, I don't think they will. Some Miami fans are getting really pissed off by that, but I don't. They're probably going to lose in my mind. Again, it's hard to tell, and if App State wins or if App State loses, then some people might come back on that video and try to shit on me a little bit. But you know what? That's my opinion on it. Georgia Tech, I think they'll get a win. Florida State, I think is going to be a loss. North Carolina, I think is going to be a loss. Virginia Tech, I think is going to be a win. Notre Dame, that's a tough game. That's probably a loss. Pittsburgh, probably a win. Virginia, probably a win. And then NC State and Duke, I think they're going to split. And then something tells me that Miami's probably going to lose their bowl game this year. Mark Richt, I think, can bring back a 9 or 10 win tradition that he carried over from Georgia. And I think he will be a little bit more successful, but in my mind, I don't know if he's the right coach for the U. I mean, I know he graduated from there, but look at the success he had at Georgia. Never really met expectations. Granted, expectations were through the roof. But you know what? You start winning 9 and 10 games again, and the expectations are going to start going through the roof again in Miami. So I know that was a very opinion-filled preview, but again, that was my spiel on Miami. I could give a very, very long spiel on Miami just as a program, why they're not good anymore, and just, the reasons why. The reasons are pretty obvious. Just some people that are Miami fans or some people that are just college football fans might not realize it. There's probably a lot of you do. But again, very spirited preview that I thought would be cool to do. I will be reposting my BYU preview tomorrow. That's the other one that I felt like kind of wasn't up to par. I'm doing so many previews in a short period of time. I know about all of these teams. I know a lot about college football. It's one of my favorite sports to watch. But sometimes I will screw up on the videos. Sometimes the research will get mixed up. It happens. And I'll try to give you guys the best content I can. If you see something that's wrong, like I said, say whatever you want, and I'll try to fix it, put up a better video, just provide the best content I possibly can. But that's pretty much it. See ya.